let's move on to our favorite sport, probably the NFL. And the NFL draft just happened a few days ago, a few weeks, we give or take. No, come on, like why are we picking hairs? Yeah. Trevor Lawrence is a Jacksonville Jaguar. No surprise.
I mean, honestly, I didn't see that coming. I didn't see Lawrence going number 1. I actually had him falling to 9 for the Giants.
Oh, really nice.
But no, yeah. Honestly, I think everyone knew what the top 5 or whatever was going to be. Tommy, right? Mm-hmm. And it's I feel bad for him. He's going to get his ass kicked those first few years, but Jags.
He'll be a better man at the end.
The Jags. They finally got their QB of the future.
I don't know if the Jags have ever had an elite quarterback, unless
Blake
I do
Bortles.
Blake Bortles. Like, oh my
the only
god!
QB to get fully
Blaine
carried.
Gabbert, Garner Minshew, Nick Foles. Oh my!
I think Nick Foles was the best they ever had. It was like for 2 quarters.
It's a bad time to be a Jags fan, eh?
Oh man!
And they were in the AFC Championship game like 3 years ago. Remember?
Yep. I had money on them beating the Pats, and then they lost.
They almost did. They were up 10, I think, in the fourth quarter, and then that guy had to.
Who's that?
Moving on. We were gonna talk about Zach Wilson, but Gav's not here today, and Gav's brother agreed to come on.
Did he? Okay.
I think so. He was hitting at it. I saw him. I saw Gav like getting like angsty about Zach Wilson. So we'll have the Delaney brothers on and hear what they have to say. So why don't we move on to number 3, Trey Lance.
Yep.
They moved up. Apparently, Shannon said he moved up for Mac Jones and then fell in love with Trey Lance. What do you think?
People they said Mac Jones was going to go at 3, right? But I didn't believe it, to be honest with you. Tell me, I didn't think he was going to go that high. I'd always figured they were going to go with Lance.
Or Fields.
I thought Fields was a number 3 QB out there, but they went with him instead. Mm-hmm. I think they're happy with that. I think what the Bears got Fields, right?
Yeah, that's.
I think they're happy with it too. I think they're both happy. It worked out. We just have to see,
And if we could put up my pre-draft quarterback board, I had Lawrence, Fields, Mac Jones, Trey Lance, Zach Wilson at 5. I really don't like Zach Wilson. I really like when I was freaking out when I saw Zach Wilson's name. Like it was like Justin Fields after he threw 6 touchdowns against Trevor Lawrence in the semifinal. Jets are taking Justin Fields. New York Post, Fields time in New York. And then randomly, out of the blue, Zach Wilson comes out of nowhere, and he's the number 2 pick in the draft. We're going to get to Zach Wilson later. But I had Trey Lance as my 4th quarterback on what I saw. But albeit it's such a small sample size. But he ain't going to play right away because Jimmy G is still the quarterback in San Francisco, right?
Unless something, crazy happens, barring whatever circumstance. Injuries, whatever. Jimmy G will be the starter for that team.
Do you think San Fran was the best? I think that was the best place for a quarterback to go, right? They have everything there.
I mean, they're a pretty well-stocked team. The one thing they're missing out on was an above-average quarterback with an above-average arm.
Which they think they got now.
Which I think they got.
You think Trey Lance is...
I like Trey. He was my number 2 quarterback, tell me. After,
let's look at Johnny's board. So we had Trevor Lawrence, right?
Trevor Lawrence. Then I had Trey Lance.
Then you had Fields.
Then I had BYU. Wilson.
Oh, Zach Wilson.
Then I had Mac Jones. Then I had Fields. I had Fields on my bottom. I don't trust Ohio State quarterbacks. I don't trust them. I have bad experience.
I'm still looking at Johnny's board right now, and it is...
It's a little biased, my board, but
You just don't like Ohio State quarterbacks?
I don't like Ohio State quarterbacks.
Yeah, I wonder why.
The kid has all the confidence. He's all the confidence in the world, but that doesn't mean much, And he's
second on my board.
I think he's good. I think he was the worst one out of the quarterback stuff.
Do you think he'll have the worst career out of all of them?
I think he's gonna have. I think he's gonna have the best opportunities in this year. I think he
might start week 1.
That's what I'm saying. I think him and obviously Trevor Lawrence is gonna start too.
Yeah.
But I think Fields is gonna make one of the bigger impacts. I just don't think he's long term one of the top quarterbacks in the draft.
Absolutely. Like it's gonna be tough. It's so hard to judge. Like I presume Lawrence is gonna have the best career, but he's gone to an awful team, right. But Andrew Luck was a phenomenal. We all knew, even though he was getting his butt kicked for his first. Keeping a PG, butt kicked for his first 5 years in the league. He was taking more hits than everyone, and his numbers were still good. But the Colts were always like 10-6, 11-5. 9-7 sometimes. We knew it wasn't his fault. I feel like that's what it's going to be like for Trevor Lawrence.
I would not be surprised, yeah, because Jags, they don't got much around, and even their other picks, they drafted Travis Etienne. I didn't like that. Like, they had James Robinson.
Yeah,
you don't have to pay him.
Yeah,
they had a undrafted free agent that could give him pennies, and he played really well. And then they go and sign a first round pick running back.
I think it was just to make Trevor happy to get the Clemson guy.
I know, but they could have done more with that. He'd be happier winning games than having a buddy on his
Elijah
team.
Moore from Ole Miss was there. Terrence Marshall from LSU. The receiver class was pretty good. But they have DJ Chark there.
I'm not sold on him.
They have Tebow at tight end, which we'll get into a little bit now. They're just
Tebow at tight end.
They're just unfair the amount of weapons they have.
I can't wait, Tommy, for ESPN exploding when they run a fake play and Tebow throws a touchdown pass to Trevor Lawrence. That target, Tommy, it's going to destroy. It's going to break the internet. They're not going to stop posting about it for 2 months. I guarantee it.
Can Tebow even get it there?
I think he could. I think they get like a nice little, first and goal.
Okay, yeah. I thought you were talking about like a 30-yard bomb. I'm like, Tebow can throw 30 yards.
I mean, like a little fake play.
30 yards. Tebow can't even throw it across my backyard.
Tebow, his arm strength.
Oh, my God. More on Tebow later on, but we'll go through. Then there was Kyle Pitts. I mean, you weren't a fan. I love that pick. I think Matt Ryan still got something left in the tank.
Should have went QB.
No.
Yeah,
I like Matt Ryan.
I like him too. Still should have went QB.
But what are they going to do? They owe Matt Ryan like $70 million in the next 2 years.
Because they made a bad decision in the past. I mean, they have to make another bad decision.
But, like, who are they going to take? You taking Mac Jones?
I would have taken Mac. I would take Mac at 4. At 4, put him on the bench for this year. Let Matt Ryan start.
Similar playing styles.
That's what I'm saying. And I feel like Matt Ryan would have been good for his development. But now they
just wanted Kyle Pitts to fall to your Giants. I'm not.
I don't want. Why would I want Kyle Pitts, Tommy?
He's better than Evan Ingram.
Well, yeah, I know. we already have our tight end in the future now.
Oh,
Calvin Benjamin. He ate the Popeyes biscuit, Tommy. He's now officially a tight end.
He's a big boy. He was a big receiver.
He always was.
Pro Bowl this year. If they let Evan Ingram in the Pro Bowl, I guess the standards aren't that high.
Evan Ingram is still like our worst pass catching tight end on the team still, with the addition of Calvin Benjamin.
Well, here's the thing. I love that pick for Atlanta because now I think they got going to be probably the best tight end in the league in a few years.
I like
tight end, and I like Matt Ryan. People are selling Matt Ryan short. Matt Ryan's an MVP winner. You took him to a Super Bowl. He still got something left in the tank.
How'd he do in the Super Bowl?
Well, it doesn't matter. You still got him.
There's a little bit.
Still got him there.
There's a little bit.
Still got him there. He has the same amount of NFC Championship wins as Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees. And Tom Brady. And Tom Brady's been there a year. But Matt Ryan's I love Matt Ryan. I think he's a phenomenal quarterback.
I like him a lot, too. I just don't. He's not what he used to be, though, Tom. He is
right
now, he's an average quarterback.
But quarterbacks come up every year. You know what I mean? Like, Kyle Pitts aren't growing on trees. I get what they did. Do you understand what they did?
Yeah, sure. They had the receivers. They had the backs. They needed.
They could have went defense too.
They should have went defense. Defense is horseshit. Excuse my French, but no. I don't get I get the tight end, Tommy, but a tight end at 4.
So then, at number 5, maybe the biggest headline of the draft, or one of them, was Joe Burrow reunited with his favorite target from LSU, Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
Should they have went offensive line, Johnny? I mean, he was running for his life last year. As great as he was, the injury, he's coming off it. Was it the right pick?
I mean, I feel like this year the draft, it was a deep offensive line draft. There weren't a lot of teams going for him in the first round. More skilled players went, I think it was okay. I think there were guys available because they did pick in the later rounds. Offensive line. I think it was okay for them to make the decision. I think the bigger thing for them was reconnecting the combo, like you said,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think it was okay that they went with him.
So now if we look at the weapons they have, Jamar Chase now, T. Higgins, who had an unbelievable rookie year, kind of flew under the radar.
Right.
Tyler Boyd, they signed Thaddeus Moss, Joe Mixon, what did you say? Yeah, he's a top flight running back.
He's a very solid running back. He gets a lot of hate, but he's solid.
Yes,
when he's healthy.
Yeah, and Joe Burrow, that's a hell of a lineup. Their O-line, let's see if the second round, I forget his name now. Let's wait and see. Let's see. But their defense can't stop a cold, Joni.
Yeah, no, that's for them. They're not expecting anything soon.
No.
It's going to be a couple
long
years.
game.
Yeah.
Well, when you have all your best players are under the age of 25, like Burrow's what, 23, 24?
Yeah, I think he's 23.
They're babies.
Yeah, it's a long term thing for them, especially division they're in.
Mm-hmm.
They're in it for the long haul. They're gonna make more draft picks. They're gonna see how these guys mesh together.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're gonna dump one or two of their receivers for picks. Who knows? That's what I would do at least. 'Cause,
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I think Cincinnati, like we said, they ain't gonna win now because Cleveland's better than them. Cleveland's an AFC favorite along with Kansas City.
Right.
Baltimore's good every year, it seems like. And then the Steelers won the division last year, and their defense is top-notch with T.J. Watt, Devin Bush coming back from injury, Minkah Fitzpatrick. I mean, it's a tough division. So we're not expecting a lot. So they'll probably have a low draft pick again next year, and maybe they can get that.
That's what they want,
Exactly.
That'll work.
Linemen come and go, unless it's Quinn Nelson. Look at the Quinn Nelson. The Colts had the worst O-line in the league. They drafted Quinn Nelson. They're the best O-line. One of them.
Goes to show.
Then we had a number 6, Johnny. We had Tua reunited with Jalen Waddle.
Yep.
Would you have taken Jalen Waddle or Devontae Smith? I know people say Waddle might be even faster than Devontae Smith.
I would have went Devontae because I think he's better than Waddle, but honestly, I don't know much about Jalen Waddle. I know more about Devontae. He's the Heisman winner and all that.
Yeah, and Waddle was hurt a lot.
Right, exactly. But that's why people have said that Waddle is the better receiver. I've seen a lot of people say that he's better than Devontae.
More polished.
Well, yeah, more right. It's better. Not better, but more all around, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. I probably would have went Devonta, but
I think Tua just needs something right now because their defense was stellar at the end of last year. Mahomes threw 3 picks against the Miami Dolphins.
Very true.
And what they did to Jared Goff and the Rams, Jared Goff, albeit, they torched them. They were amazing defense at the middle to tail end of the season last year.
Miami, they turned the corner.
Mm-hmm. And Brian Flores deserves a hell of a lot of credit for what he's done.
Yeah.
One of the few Belichick proteges that seems to be working out. The one weak spot was Tua, because when Fitzpatrick was playing, they were winning football games.
Tua, he's still learning. Mm-hmm. He hasn't been in the league that long. It happens, right?
Yeah.
Better things coming, but now I think they don't have Fitzpatrick anymore. Do they, tell me?
He's in Washington.
Okay, that's what I thought. I figured
this is Tua's team.
That's what I'm saying. Now it's his team. There's no fallback. It's his show.
I heard a rumor that Deshaun Watson situation is starting to clear up a bit, and Miami is in love with Deshaun Watson. So you got to think in a Deshaun Watson trade.
You think they would do a swap, Tommy?
Not 1-for-1. It would be Tua and first. They're gonna have to give him some capital.
I would say it'd be Deshaun Watson and some firsts.
No.
You don't think?
I'm saying because they're saying the settlements are starting to fall through. He's starting to some 6-figure checks are heading out of his pocket. You know.
Yeah, but still, who knows what's gonna happen in 6 months?
And in Miami.
Miami is not a good place for him to be, man. That's bad in Houston. Imagine Miami.
Oh my God! But that's what I've heard. But I feel
woman.
I think it'd be Tua and a first.
I don't think it's gonna happen though, Tommy. I don't see them making that trade.
Well, the Texans drafted David Mills from Stanford in the second round as a quarterback, and they have Tyrod Taylor. So there's all signs to them that Deshaun Watson's not coming back. It's either he's going to be in the clink or he's going to be somewhere else.
The clink.
But he's. I think he's going to get off. Get off. They've settled it out of court.
Off, Tommy.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I had to.
Yeah, you had to. But here's the thing: he's going to be playing somewhere else because they wouldn't have drafted a quarterback. They wouldn't have signed Tyrod Taylor. So they were preparing for Deshaun Watson not to be in a Texans uniform.
I think they want to keep it, but I think they're looking realistically at what might happen.
Because these are going to get settled. All these things.
Right.
As the way it points right now.
It wasn't 20-something last time?
Yeah, it was insane.
It's a ridiculous amount.
Yeah,
it's too much to be fake, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't like to, innocence will prove and guilty, but now this is getting insane.
Of course, that's what I'm saying.
But Miami, what I've heard, a report of what I've read from Schefter and Rappaport and those guys is that Miami still loves the possibility of Deshaun Watson being their quarterback. As would I. I would love New England to have Deshaun Watson now. Who wouldn't?
I'll pass.
I mean, besides, prior to these allegations.
No, I'm kidding. I'm just saying because Daniel Jones is better.
Oh, yeah.
But
let's give him.
No, I know what you mean. Deshaun Watson, like 99% of the teams in the league, probably even all of them, would want him on their roster. Who wouldn't? You know?
Like Kansas City.
It's just the one thing I feel like holding back against them is those charges, those off the field things.
Yeah.
I think that's why if there would be a trade, they would have to sweeten the pot a bit on the Deshaun Watson side, because the guy might be, like you said, it might be Nick Link in 3 months. You know, who knows?
Yeah.
He might get on the commissioner's exempless. Who knows what happens?
Yeah, suspension.
Could happen, man. Wouldn't be surprised if something.
So
happens.
as of right now, Miami's sticking with Tua, but I'm saying this is what I've heard, and Tua, as good as Gesicki and those guys are, he hasn't had a true number one receiver.
No.
Like
Until
Devontae
now.
Parker was his name. He's not bad.
He was hurt too for a bit.
Yeah. Now he's got his Alabama teammate Jalen Waddle. So let's see.
Very big.
They can't. You gotta give quarterbacks more than 1 year. So he's getting that opportunity. So I like that pick. Him or Devontae, pick your poison. I guess they liked Waddle's a bit bigger, and he could maybe be even faster at some points, which I couldn't believe. He can even return punts. So I get what they did. They might have even asked Tua, who do you want? Who do you want, Jalen or Devontae?
Maybe. I wouldn't be surprised.
Maybe not. He probably doesn't have that much leverage. But I'm saying if they were to, he's played
They
with
probably
both.
wanted his opinion, you know? He did play with both of them, like you said.
Yeah, he did. And so that happened. And then we'll just quickly run through Penei Sewell to the Lions. I like that pick, keeping Jared
Solid.
Goff
Very
upright.
solid.
J.C. Horn, the corner, the Carolina. They addressed the quarterback with Sam Darnold. They bring in J.C. Horn.
They needed
Their
some
one
defensive
problem was
stuff.
defense. Eh?
Right, and that was big for them. I
And
don't know much about Casey Horn. I never really heard about him
J.C.
before
Horn,
the
yeah.
draft, but apparently the guy's supposed to be a pretty solid DB, top one on the board. Got to be a lot of big names and big boys in that division. You know, the two Mikes, Mike Thomas, Mike Evans. You know, those are
Calvin
big,
Ridley.
Calvin Ridley. Those are big boys. You know, and they're gonna need a big DB. You kind of know 5'8" DB guarding a 6'6" Mike Evans. You know, you need a big boy, and size matters. Unfortunately, yeah, I think it was a good pick for them.
I totally agree. And the next pick was the other corner people were saying who would go off the board first. Patrick Surtain to Denver. You need good corners when you got quarterbacks in that division like Mahomes and Justin Herbert, and even Derek Carr, who can throw it around the lot. Johnny.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's a strong QB. I think they both made the right choice. I think it's both solid picks, both DBs.
Patrick, what I love about Patrick Surtain is playing in the SEC. You've played against the top receivers. Like, look at the receivers. Like, he had to cover the LSU guys. He had to cover Justin Jefferson. He had to cover Jamar Chase.
Right.
You know, he had to cover Elijah Moore. He had to cover these guys, and he's used to doing it. So I think he'll be a stud corner, and especially with that pass rush with Von Miller getting healthy. Bradley Chubb took another step forward. Denver's defense, which was already solid last year, just got even better, I think, with Patrick Surtain.
I remember they were a sleeper team last year, Tommy. And then Von Miller got hurt, which kind of killed them a bit. But this year, I'm sure you're expecting big things.
Drew Lock's my question mark. I thought Drew Lock would be better than he actually was.
Me too, Tom. So did I.
But Aaron Rodgers linked to them, so you never know. You've seen crazier things.
Not that crazy, though, Tommy. Not that crazy.
And then at the 10th pick, we had the Cowboys, who wanted Patrick Surtain, said, we'll just move back to 12, ended up with Micah Parsons. And the Philadelphia Eagles take the reigning Heisman Trophy winner, Devonta Smith. You like that pick, Johnny?
It pissed me off, Tommy. And you know, those freaking Eagles, man. Philly, the city of scumbags, Tommy. They knew what they were doing. They knew the Giants wanted Devonta. And they knew the Cowboys weren't going to take him. So they said, we'll screw over the Giants. We'll take Devonta and we'll trade with the Cowboys. Who trades within a division on draft night? Who does that? They did just to screw over the Giants. Their hate for the Giants is worse than their hate for the Cowboys. That just shows you something. That shows who the best team in the division is.
Because they were going to take Devonta Smith.
No, even though I didn't want them to, they for sure were going. Because then they traded right back.
Who did you want them to take? When you were sitting at 11.
I wanted Micah. I wanted Micah Parsons. I figured I liked him a lot. I figured our defense is solid. We have a solid defense, but I think our linebackers, we could have used an edge or a Mike linebacker, you know.
I wanted you to take offensive line, Vera Tucker. To keep, or Rashawn Slater. To keep.
I like Slater too. I wanted Slater or Parsons were my top two.
To keep Daniel Jones and Saquon, you know.
But instead, they take a receiver.
Well, he was a burner at Florida.
Just gave $80 million to Kenny Golladay, and now we signed another receiver in the draft. That's what I love to see.
He was lightning fast at Florida, though.
He was, but I would rather have taken an offensive lineman or a linebacker.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's the Giants, though. They pick what they have. You would think it was a cosmic sign when Philly snagged Devonta Smith to not take a wide receiver, but they still took a wide receiver.
But let's talk about why you took a wide receiver at 20, because the Bears moved up with you. Do you like the trade back, though, for your Giants? If Devonta Smith wasn't there...
That's what I was going to say. If I would have preferred they took Mika or Slater, but they didn't. They did the next best thing. They gathered some assets for next year.
Next year's first rounder.
Right. They got some more picks. Hopefully, I guess they're banking on next year's class. I don't really know anything about it right now.
Yeah, no, really.
Yeah.
I just know Spencer Rattler from Oklahoma was probably the number one pick, the quarterback.
Quarterback, okay. So we know that. But besides that, Giants don't need a quarterback. So I'm sure there's going to be one or two offensive linemen this next year. They better go for it,
Mm-hmm. So they get the first pick of the Bears next year, the first rounder next year. They got a third. I forget the exact return, but I know you got next year's one. Mm-hmm. And they take Justin Fields.
We got like a 3 or a 2 or something like that.
So they take Justin Fields.
Yep.
I like that move up for Chicago. They got rid of, God praise them for getting rid of Trubisky. The worst quarterback maybe of all time. Justin Fields is like a Rolls Royce. And Trubisky's like a 1998
Corolla.
Yes, it's unbelievable. So I love that move up for Chicago. Cost them a big return, but if you like a quarterback, Johnny, there's no price too high enough.
I agree. And I'm not sold on Ohio State quarterbacks, but they needed one. They took probably the best they were gonna get. Justin Fields. Who knows? Maybe he's gonna be good. Hopefully, he's not gonna be good this year, so the Giants can get a high pick.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
And then we had the Cowboys taking Micah Parsons at 12, which is they need their defense.
That was a great.
Speaking of bad defenses, theirs is at the top of the list of bad defenses. They get Micah Parsons, which I think is a great pickup, Johnny.
For sure, that was exactly what they needed. They might have went for a DB first.
Yeah, but they wanted Surtain.
Yeah, exactly. They wanted defense. They got Micah. Micah's a hell of a linebacker. I wanted him bad, man.
And then we had. So good pickup for the Cowboys, especially with the new defensive coordinator, Dan Quinn, who was the head coach of Atlanta. Mm-hmm. So he's going to have a lot of assets now to work with.
For sure.
I think the best pick of the draft was at 13, Rashawn Slater going to the Chargers. Justin Herbert, the one problem is he was getting hit a lot. They get arguably the best left tackle in the draft. That's a huge pickup for the Chargers.
For sure. I think that was a great move for them. Slater, another guy I wanted. They knew what they needed, and they did what they needed.
Mm-hmm. If you look at his tape, what he did against Chase Young in college, he contained Chase Young.
He was the best player they could have got.
Mm-hmm.
I stand by that.
And then you look at 14, another great move up. The Jets had a good draft in my eyes, except I wouldn't have taken Zach Wilson. But trading up and getting Vera Tucker, the guard from USC. Now they're going to have Mekhi Becton and Vera Tucker on the left side of the line, Johnny. So at least Zach Wilson's already going to have way more weapons than Sam Darnold ever did
Zach Wilson,
in New York.
He hasn't played a game yet, and he's already in a way better position than Sam Darnold.
I think that was a great move up by the Jets to solidify that offensive line, keep the kid upright. They signed Corey Davis. Mm-hmm. They need some help, maybe running back, but they addressed that later on in the draft with the kid from North Carolina.
Yeah.
We're not, again, the Jets, this is a long-term thing. I know how many times I have to tell Jets fans this is a marathon, not a sprint. They think they got the right piece at quarterback, and solidifying the offensive line and getting him some weapons to work with is the first step. Then we get to number 15 in my New England Patriots. Done it again. Bill Belichick and the Patriots steal Mac Jones at 15. 15, they take Mac Jones, who I had as you can see, the third quarterback on my board behind Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields. Johnny, I think that was one of the best picks of the draft, if I do say so myself. They needed a quarterback, and they got the one that most fits the Patriot way.
They took Tom Brady part 2, just like Giants took
say that.
Eli Manning part 2. It's the same thing. It's almost like gonna be a carbon copy of Tom Brady out there. Who knows? I'm not saying it's gonna be the same skill-wise, but it's a carbon copy.
You're a big man for saying that.
What can I say?
But I think in college, if you look at the resumes of the draft class, okay, Trevor Lawrence was a 3-year starter, but on last year's stats alone, Mac Jones had by far the best numbers, like not even close. He had the highest completion percentage in college history. But what are the takeaways? He had Devonta Smith, Jalen Waddle, Najee Harris, Best O-line in college football. The list goes on and on. So his weapons around him hurt him, but you still got to put the ball in places they can catch him. And he did that.
Yeah, well, it's always easier in college, obviously. But
of course.
That was what the Patriots needed. You know, they have, because when they're missing out half their defense anyway from opted out or stuff like that, right?
They're coming back.
Those guys are all coming back. They have Mac Jones. Who knows if he's going to be the starter? He might not be.
I think it's Cam's the start.
I think Bill really liked him, and I think they wanted him. And when he slipped to 15, they snagged him.
Because a lot of the mock drafts had, we're going to move up. New England's going to move up with Carolina and take Mac Jones.
Yeah, like New England is going to trade up in the draft.
And I'm looking at people, I'm like, New England's not going to trade up. Do you think Belichick's going to give up assets? Okay. He's going to let the draft come to him. I'm not saying I'm not a huge Belichick. Like, people know I'm Team Brady over Team Belichick. I feel like Tom Brady made Bill Belichick, which is 100% true. But still, his MO is not giving up assets, which is smart. And he waited, patient, got the guy he wanted without even giving up anything. He keeps his first rounders next year. I think it was beautifully played by New England. Not to mention the defensive tackle from Alabama in the second round. They picked the defensive end from Oklahoma in the third. Sure. A great draft by New England, I think. I still think they're the third best team in the division, though. As being, biases aside, I think Buffalo's better. I think Miami's better. I think we're the third team. But still, 7 playoff teams, you never know.
That's the thing. It's we got a taste of it this past year, right? It's a new format. Could be something, Tom. Could we make some waves?
So, who do you think will be the best rookie quarterback this year? Who the rookie of the? I'm not saying career.
Yeah, no, I know.
Because probably Trevor Lawrence, but this year, who do you think will have the best year?
Well, it's not going to be Trey Lance. Because he's not going to start. I don't think it's going to be Mac Jones.
Because he's probably not going to start.
He's probably not going to start. Zach, for me, I think it might be Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson.
I think it will be. Because Trevor, he's going to get his ass kicked a little bit.
Yeah.
But Zach Wilson, like you said, they got those 2 studs on the left now. They got a couple of decent weapons for him. I think he might have the best year statistically. Because it's his team. They gave him the reins.
Here's I'm going to go Justin Fields. I think Justin Fields has Allen Robinson. They have a good team. They made the playoffs last year with Trubisky.
They did.
Trubisky.
Which says a lot about their team. They
made the playoffs with Mitchell Trubisky. If you can make the playoffs with Mitchell Trubisky, imagine a normal human being. Imagine.
Someone who's decent at football.
Someone who's decent at football. Justin Fields is more than decent at football. So I think I'm not saying he's going to win Rookie of the Year, because my Rookie of the Year is Najee Harris, running back.
Really?
For the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Offensive Rookie of the Year?
Big Ben can't throw anymore. Even if he can, it's going 10 yards. So the smart thing is to hand it off to Najee Harris. And the one thing they lacked last year was a running game, Johnny.
That's very true.
I'm just saying.
James Conner did.
Jamar Chase, maybe? Like, what other offensive Rookie of the Years do you like? Besides the quarterbacks?
Jamar Chase. Maybe Devonta Smith. I agree with you. I think, probably one of the quarterbacks.
They tend to give it to quarterbacks, but because I thought
That's
Justin Jefferson was the offensive Rookie of the Year, and they gave it to Herbert.
That's the thing. They give it mostly to quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I figure that's why. Probably Zach Wilson, in my opinion.
Okay.
Because I think he's gonna have the best year statistically.
Okay, I like that. I think best quarterback would be Fields, which I think they'll probably give it to Fields. But I think on resume, who I would give it to, I think Najee Harris will have the best resume, if that makes sense.
It does. I understand.
Okay. So that's going to do it for us on the Tommy John Show today. We want to thank you guys for listening.
For sure.
If you haven't smashed that subscribe button, do it now. Smash that like button. Comment. Johnny, where can they follow us?
Instagram.
Yep. Twitter. Facebook.
Snapchat. Facebook. MySpace.
You name it.
What all we got?
Yeah, TikTok. You got anything you want. We got it.
Yep.
We want to thank, obviously, our staff behind the screens, Kennedy, my mom, everyone. Johnny, any last words before we leave?
Thanks for watching. For
Tommy Lane, that is Johnny Mishas. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.